Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out expressvpn.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months. Action. Man. I didn't know what I was going to do when I heard the news. I just kind of knew I had to jump into my studio and cover it as soon as possible. This is going to be one of the biggest changes in Chargers history. And we weren't going to sit on the sidelines for this one. And after even doing the video and talking it through with myself and reading some of you guys' comments, I felt that it would be appropriate if we all got on here. I just kind of chit-chatted about the Keenan Allen situation going down. That has shaken the world of Chargers fans. And has left maybe one of the deepest cuts and biggest footprints that we could have possibly felt this offseason. Yes, we had a lot. We had a lot of things to maybe potentially worry about. With the cap situation being what it was, left by Tom Telesco, and some of the stars that may have to depart after this season. A lot of talk about Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. We kind of knew Mike Williams was going to be a cap casualty, but Keenan Allen, man, this one blindsided me pretty good, dude. This one blindsided me pretty good. Keenan Allen's going to be thought of, at least by me, alongside some of the greatest ever to play for the Chargers, including that fella right there. The reason I started watching football, LaDainian Tomlinson. This is crazy. This is crazy, dudes. I honestly cannot believe it. I honestly cannot believe Keenan Allen is not going to be a Los Angeles Charger next season. I am absolutely devastated. Gutted. A little ticked off, but mostly just, man. Without words. Absolutely without words. Unreal. For those of you who missed it, Keenan Allen was just traded to the Los Angeles Chargers have just traded Keenan Allen to the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears for a 4th round pick. He is gone. Keenan Allen, his time as a Los Angeles Charger has come to an end. San Diego, by the way, one of the last 2 remaining San Diego Chargers on the roster. He was traded away for a 4th round pick, which again, I at first was very offended by the number. 4th round. What the heck? But then you come to realize it was definitely a money issue. Definitely a money issue. We later found out that Keenan Allen was approached today, or maybe not today, but recently, into taking a pay cut in order to stay with the team, maybe work out an extension, who knows. He refused, and it led to the trade to Chicago, which I'm guessing that's been brewing for a minute now. And it comes after the news of Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack both taking pay cuts as well. Again, nobody's obliged to do this. Let's not be pointing fingers at Keenan Allen. Maybe not pointing fingers at very many people, period. As this is football, things like this do happen. Doesn't make it easy, but it does happen. So my hope that maybe, Keenan and this unit would run it back. We had Joey, we got Khalil, got Keenan. Let's see what we can do with new Gus Bus and obviously Justin Herbert and all these guys. Under the new Jim Harbaugh banner, things got exciting. And I think reality just kind of came crashing down to earth for everybody today, that the Chargers had to become not just cap compliant, but reshaped for the future. For Jim Harbaugh, for Greg Roman, a new offense. a new system, a new scheme. And I'm sure Keenan Allen would have fit into that scheme, that concept. He'll fit anywhere, man. Like, quite honestly, Keenan Allen is system-proof, as sure as it gets at wide receiver. But the money became a complication. Talk a little bit about how much the Chargers are saving and what that means for the draft, what that means for free agency. We're going to be taking a look at some of the free agents the Chargers could and should be targeting after the freed up money in that situation. But it's a tough one, man. I wanted to make sure that I jumped on live, provide something of an environment for us to heal and think and reminisce a little bit, because it is emotional. Some of you guys will be like, what are you whining about? Boo-hoo, director, your favorite football player moved on to a different team. Yeah, dude. Been watching this dude for years, man. I see people go crazy over dumb crap on TV all the time, celebrities, all that, as you get to kind of feel like you know them a bit personally, right? Keenan's kind of one of those guys for me, dude. Even outside of football, feels like we could jive. Well, while we're all here real quick, let's grab some of these chats, man. Thank you guys for supporting even on something like this. Joe Alexander says, I've been to Florida twice in the past 2 years. Both times ended in tragedy. 27-0. Now this may never come back to the state again. Yikes, dude. Yikes. Kyle coming in with the 19 months. Some of my non-Chargers friends keep throwing out the idea Jay Jettas. And while it's a pipe dream, the idea coupled with neighbors MHJ make it worth it. Yeah, I think so. We're going to go over a little bit about the future of the position here in just a second. But the Jay Jettas thing, I think, is certainly out of the reach for us. Matter of fact, I trolled everybody pretty good. As long as I'm making content, every once in a while, I'm going to pull the rug out underneath you guys and do something stupid. That was pretty funny, I'm not going to lie. Chase coming in with a no. Yeah, man, it's tough out here. Dat Mex coming in with the 5 says, I'm right now, bro. In what universe is this a good move? 4th round pick. Yeah, the 4th round return stings, but we're going to get into the details of that in just a second here. Juan with the 2 says, T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk, trade incoming. The Chargers are now, yes, at the top of a lot of people's lists in terms of trade partner in a team that needs receiver. The complicated issue here is that the Chargers certainly have an opportunity to add a couple of receivers, at least, in the draft this season, in a season where the draft is just loaded at the position. It pains me for these words to come out of my mouth, but there could have been a worse year for this to happen if you weren't looking at such a talented wide receiver group in terms of the rookies, but we'll get to that. Richard at the 2 says, does that make QJ wide receiver 1 and Edwards running back 1, really? I would say Josh Palmer is probably wide receiver 1 right now, which is kind of crazy to think about. Edwards is certainly running back 1 right now. Yes, huge change in the look of the offense. Francesco with the 2 says, look how they messed with my boy. Yeah, they really... It really does feel that way. Wow, you guys are jumping in real quick here. We're going to lightning round some of this so we can get to some of the details. Aaron, can someone please check on Herbert? Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for everybody, dude. Did you guys see the post of Keenan Allen, just the tears emote next to the Mike Williams news? That brought me a little bit of emotion there just alone. LACO2 with the 5 says, Keenan's been my favorite player since I was 12. I'm 21 now. I can't begin to express the heartbreak. That is the same way I feel, my man. Keenan's been around since before I had my son. Since I was just really grasping and understanding even the sport of football. Becoming a Chargers fan, watched him get drafted, saw the growth in his first couple years. It's tough. It really is tough. Forgotten coming in with the 5 says, team has bad roster depth, and now you're forced into going with a blue chip wide receiver instead of trading down, accumulating assets, and building the roster. That is true. That is true. I'm going to give you that one, Forgotten. That is true. The Chargers, for as much as they don't want to pigeonhole themselves into a certain position or corner themselves into a certain decision in the draft, with this move, they must go wide receiver at pick number 5. There is really no choice now. And again, it's kind of a given.
We trust. Come on, guys. I love Keenan so much. To be a part of the same old Chargers, we need to clean everything out as much as it hurts. I saw Tomlinson, Rivers, etc. go. We now have money. Let's start fresh.
Good perspective, man. Good perspective. It's tough to be optimistic in situations like this. I should know. It's usually me trying to hold up the flag of, hey, man, everybody rally. We're going to be good. Yeah, I think I'm hurting. We're all hurting. But that makes a good point. I'm going to come back and read that again because it is part of why I went live today. Because we need to give some ray of hope. Some ray of hope that maybe, just maybe, everything will work out. Envy coming with a 27. Director, love to see you live. Hate the scenario. So gutted for the run. What makes you sure Joe Alt isn't the guy? Also, you see Tom Grossi take. I haven't seen the Tom Grossi thing yet. I'm pretty certain the Chargers going receiver now. Again, we'll get to that in just a second. JF coming in with the fives says, I feel gutted. We should trade Bosa, clear everything, start again, and be positive. There is still the possibility of the Bosa or Mac thing happening. We'll get to that again here in just a second. We got a lot of things to circle back around to, but yeah, that could still happen, my man. That could definitely still happen. Hugo with the 37. It's official. Chargers posted on Twitter. The pick is 110 for Allen. 110 for Allen. So we got the upper echelon of the fourth round. Good to know. But still, man, nothing. You could have given me, I mean, yeah, first, second, you're like, okay, it hurts a little less, but even then I would have been gutted to move on from Keenan. Chase with the 5. I'm a grown man. I got teary-eyed. Just threw out my jersey. Why Keenan? This is devastating. I'm definitely going to treasure every Keenan jersey I got because it represents something in every year that he was a Charger. Lord Vader coming in. We trade 2 and 3 round pick for Higgins, sign him for 4 years, then draft Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., then boom, we have wide receiver core for the next 4 years. QJ can still be good. But we can't go into the season like this. Yeah, again, I think the Chargers' easiest route here is to draft a couple of wide receivers. But there are some guys available for trade and free agents that we need to go over here in just a moment. This will all be covered in future videos as well. But I wanted to do this with you guys. I want to do this exercise with you guys. Because I'm on a road of discovery right now with you. Trying to make sense of all this is going to be tough. But we'll make it. We'll make it. Cool run-ins with the 20. Man, dude, thank you so much, dude. Been rocking Keenan's powder blue since 2014. Hang in there, Bolt fam. Me too, man. Me too. One of my first jerseys ever was Keenan Allen, as a matter of fact. And it was one of those, I hate to admit this, one of those knockoff jerseys, right? Back then, you're poor, not making a lot of money, but hey, you got to sport the Bolts some way, somehow. Back then, the Navy was nice and clean. I got those powder blues as soon as I could as well. But, man, it's been a long time repping that 13, dude. It's going to be tough. SJ with the 2 says, think they know Arizona trading pick, so MHJ drop says. There is actually, that's a really good point to be made, too. There is a lot of rumors. And thank you again, Cool Runnings, for the $20 holla, man. Jesus, thank you. There are a lot of rumors.
Since 2014. Hang in there, Bolt fam. Crime face.
There are a lot of rumors about the Chargers having a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. fall to them, and there may be some legitimacy behind that. This is a uniquely talented group of quarterbacks that we're seeing in this class, and you will see teams trade up to get one. The Chargers, I don't think anymore are going to be a trade partner. I think we are definitely sticking and picking. But I think other teams are going to know this. And that's why we started hearing a lot of talk about the New York Giants targeting the Arizona Cardinals, maybe even the New England Patriots, although I doubt that, as trade partners to trade up and go get a quarterback. So I think at very minimum 2 quarterbacks go before us. But I think 3 is very much more so likely, which puts either MHJ or Neighbors in our lap. And I think, quite honestly, if I were betting $1 million today, that's what I bet is going to happen. And we do have fallback. We do have contingency plans in place as well, if that were not to be the case. And again, I'm gonna share some of these images with you guys here in just a second. Matthew with the 39. This hurts so much, but I see that we're looking for youth at wide receiver. Thank you, Slayer. We're gonna miss you. Much thanks to number 13. Now, Sneaker Flavors. I'm gonna reread this because it's very important. It's kind of the foundation of what we're gonna do today. You know, I don't know how long I'm gonna be live. We're gonna go as long as necessary. But I want you guys to hear this again. Coming in with a $20 holla. He says, in Harbaugh we trust. Especially right now, guys. Come on, guys. I love Keenan so much, but he's a part of the same old Chargers. We need to clean everything out as much as it hurts. I saw Tomlinson, Rivers, etc. go. We now have money. Let's start fresh. And yes, Keenan was part of those Chargers. He was definitely not part of the problem. But it is a move towards the future. It is a move towards the new. a move towards the becoming better, becoming contenders, becoming the Jim Harbaugh version of the Chargers. And if you were to take a silver lining from this, it's yes, the Chargers do indeed have a lot more money now. It's actually not showing the contract anymore, but I'll just kind of tell you guys the numbers here. Maybe they have actually updated it for the Los Angeles Chargers. I think the Chargers ended up clearing $23 million with this move. I think it's another $11 million in dead cap. But $23 million puts us close to $40 million bucks in cap all of a sudden, and the Chargers will have an opportunity to sign pretty much whoever they want now. In terms of guys with money that have positions to fill and can kind of go, take the top guys in free agency, the Chargers shot up to the top just now. We really did. We're going to go over that here in just a moment as well. And this could begin the movement, guys. This could begin the push to, honestly, again, a new system, a new scheme. We're going to be very run heavy. Should say run balanced. But we're turning things over, man. We're turning things over. Thank you again so much for the 20 there, Flavors. Big coming in with the 5 says, I'm bummed. Chargers still know how to tick off fans even during the offseason. I can't believe he didn't take the cut. Should have been both for life. Yeah, that one, it actually shocks me a little bit, too. That Keenan decided not to take the pay cut when Joey Bosa even did. And we all owe Joey Bosa a huge apology as a fan base, guys. Especially if he doesn't get traded. I can... Not to brag, I can definitely say that I've been behind Joey Bosa. Annoyingly to some people, I'm a big Joey Bosa fan to a fault. But that move does speak to his character quite a bit, despite what a lot of the people and fans have been saying. I'm shocked that Keenan Allen didn't step up to the plate as well. But again, he's not obliged to. This is money we're talking about, and he's older. And Keenan Allen needs to make the money while he can, and it's his prerogative. And we can't hold it against him. Seth with the 3 says, bought 3 jerseys last night. Bosa, Herb, and Allen. 2 got benched, and now I'm never buying a jersey again. Yeah, that can be tough, man. Definitely wait until closer to kickoff. Funko with the 5 says, will they bring back Mike Williams now with the Slayer gone? It's possible, but Slayer and Mike Williams, that combo could be just thought of as a thing of the past at this point. Theory coming back says, Neighbors and Leggett in the draft. Oh, yes, we're going to look at all the wide receivers in just a moment. Cool runnings. Once again, thank you for the 20. SJ, thank you again. Andrew with the 5. Just saw we gave away Slay. Got to talk to him once in Santa Clara. Such a class act. What a shame. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think we're just about caught up here now. Chase, I still have my signed 2013 Allen jersey. Not dumb. Teehee. There's my sister Rat. I got you, bro. Probably with the 10. Although we can all agree that a 4th is not even an even trade for Allen. He was a 3rd-round pick himself. That's true. I'm gutted too, but let's bolt up, fam, and hope we find our next diamond in the rough. If there was any a season to do so, it's this season as well. Thank you for the 10, man. Real Elliot with the 5 says, let's hurt together today and bolt up tomorrow. Slayer will be missed. Yeah, it's going to take a minute for everybody to get past the pain of this. I'm still very much so feeling it. I don't know if I've seen as much raw emotion in any of my videos than the one I just posted. Breaking the news that the Chargers were letting go of Keenan Allen. That's going to be one I certainly don't forget. Anthony with the 5. Allegedly, the team tried to restructure, extend, and get Keenan Allen to take the cut. He refused all. The upper brass of this team is team first mentality. Yeah, that's what we've all been hearing. Yep. GOC, one thing for certain, the Joe Alt mocks have to end after tonight. Yeah, I mean, it's still slightly possible. We can't completely rule it out, but it's very much so less likely at this point. I would say 99% certainty the Chargers will be taking a wide receiver at pick number 5. We're not trading down anymore. Lavario with the 10. This hurts worse than finding out my girl cheated. That sucks. Yeah, it's tough, man. It certainly is tough. It certainly is very tough. Antonio C. Keenan was stuff. Who's next? TJ Justin. This is Matt. Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to watch everything go down, man. Lord Vader with the 2. We don't have a top running back to be this crazy run first. You know, the more I think about it, too, the more I feel that the Chargers, at least at running back, just very quickly skim over this, we know what we're doing in the draft, I think, with the first 2 rounds, man. I think the Chargers are going wide receiver in the first round, which, to be fair, is going to be best talent available by far. And I think in a lot of situations outside of maybe Brock Bowers, but wide receiver certainly can make a huge case for that as well. Second round, I think the Chargers might be going after a running back. There's some good ones, very few, and which is the reason why I want to go to future drafts for this, but there's some pretty good ones in the second and third round that you can be targeting. Jonathan Brooks is back on the table now that Gus Edwards can carry the load for a while. Jonathan Brooks would be a very, very good running back for this team. Trey Benson's number one for me right now because of his health.
Director,
several guys you could target.
Yeah, do it. Yay. He did it, yeah.
Thanks, man. We'll circle back to you here, dude. Thank you so much, man. Actually, it's the next comment. So yeah, I think running back, we have more plans. It's going to continue to be built there. Christopher Johnson with the 20, and don't rule out trade for running back at this point either. Now that we have money. Cheers, director Keenan always says, "Yeah, you do it. Yeah, he did it. Yeah." Never gonna forget this man. I actually went back and watched some of his mic'd up work as well for the video I just posted on TikTok. By the way, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm making a push for 50,000 subscribers. If you guys haven't subbed, please do. It helped the cause tremendously. And in doing so, I've decided to expand my workload a little bit and start introducing a lot of YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, even Facebook at this point. If you guys want links to any of those, I'm dropping tiny little excerpts from my videos or tiny little excerpts that I'm recording, bite-sized things to keep relevant Chargers content flowing to the Bolt fam as much as possible, help the growth a little bit here on the channel. So if you guys want to check that out, all the links are in the description. Envy coming in. We almost lost it. What am I going to tell third and long? I don't know, dude. Can I hit the button? I don't even have it plugged in right now. I don't know what I'm going to do with all my Keenan animations, man. And I have to completely redo the opener to this channel before kickoff. Man, this is going to be such a different season. Chase coming about the 5. I'm the same way. Everyone's talks smack now. Bosa's here in Florida. Love Joey. Our defense plays will be monstrous. It's we trust. Yeah, it is. It is. A lot of opinions up and down after the last 24 hours. Drew coming in the 2. Really wish we got Saquon now. Still got Harbaugh. Yeah, that running back situation will get better, I promise. And lastly, Frankie, thank you for the $1 holler. Guys, you guys are crazy. Thank you so much for all the support on the Super Chats. We'll continue to roll back and swing back and hit more of them as we go along here. I just saw some breaking news on X, guys. Hang on, let's take a look at this real quick. Gonna open up a new tab here to make sure that we have everything still open that we need. Actually go to verified. Where's all that breaking news that we were just looking at? Here we go. The Rams are signing former Washington Commander safety Cameron Curl. Okay, so Curl is finally moving off the board. Keenan Allen, Chicago Bear. Oh, okay, this is new. I haven't seen this. I'm going to read this with you guys, okay? I think this is coming in from the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. What Keenan Allen has meant to the Chargers for more than a decade cannot adequately be expressed through mere words. Keenan's impact lives in the hearts of our fans, in our communities, which he has served, and amongst the countless teammates who have formed a brotherhood with him. There will only be one Keenan Allen, and we cannot thank him enough for the contributions he has made to our organization, both on and off the field. It's coming in from the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm sure we're going to hear something from Keenan here soon as well. But a lot of love, a lot of emotion officially being made from the Chargers and its fans right now. Big day for Chargers fans, tragically, but a big day nonetheless. Okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the situation now. If we're talking healing, I mean, we've been live now for what, like half an hour. Let's talk a little bit about what now, right? What now? Now that Keenan's gone, what does the environment look like? What does the money look like? Where are we going from here? Okay. Shout out to Butler for the crew ad. Thank you. And Lord Vader says $45 million in cap now. The top free agents are gone. That's true. And we're going to go over that in just a second here. Lastly, Drew with the 28 months. Really hurts to lose Keenan, but I believe in the vision of Harbaugh in the new era. Neighbors at 5. Neighbors at 5. Neighbors at 5. So first off, Keenan, we love you. We're going to miss you. What's happening now with the Los Angeles Chargers? Well, let's take a look at the draft, okay? I guarantee you, now that Keenan Allen, the Chicago Bear, and the Chargers wide receiver room is looking pretty weak all of a sudden. We got what? Quentin Johnston, Josh Palmer, Darius Davis. I guarantee you that the Chargers at pick number 5 are going to end up with Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, or Rome Odunze, who is firmly in contention for me now. Firmly. Some people may disagree. Feel like, talent may be a little bit redundant, yada, yada, yada. Rome Odunze would be wide receiver 1 on this team instantly. If the Chargers situation were to be Marvin Harrison drafted number 3, Malik Neighbors number 4. If Rome Odunze is the next guy, he is still a fantastic wide receiver. Sure, there's a gap, probably a pretty sizable one between him and Malik Neighbors, not going to lie, but you just got to do it. You just got to do it. Because the fact of the matter is, Rome Odunze is a wide receiver 1. He will be a wide receiver 1 in this league, and he will be very good. But that's really kind of the contingency plan here. He's plan B. He's a very good plan B. Again, this is a very good season to need wide receiver. It really, really is. More than likely, the Chargers, I'm going to bet, again, we're going to get Malik Neighbors. He's a future Charger. You can almost put it in stone at this point. But the backup plan of Rome Odunze is definitely not bad. Okay? And I wanted to put this point in the live video specifically because I feel like there is an opinion on Rome Odunze because he's not Malik Neighbors, because he's not Marvin Harrison Jr., that he's just your everyday, maybe he works, maybe he doesn't, wide receiver 1. No. He's the 3rd best wide receiver in maybe the best wide receiver class I've ever seen. And that speaks for something. He is a dog. He is a beast. He is a wide receiver 1, and he would be a hugely talented wide receiver for Justin Herbert to work with, and they would be very successful with him. But again, he is plan B. All right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. As for the immediate future, the Chargers do have some money to work with. Okay? In the realm of $40-45 billion, we've got money to work with all of a sudden, and the Chargers do still have some holes on the roster, outside even wide receiver. I think defensive tackle needs a look, linebacker needs a look, corner certainly needs a look. You could add more to running back. There are things that this team needs that money is going to free up and help us add. Okay, are we going to get some of these top echelon free agents? I don't know, maybe. Some of the guys that are left, I think we're still in contention for. Let's go ahead and go to unsigned here. We got to figure out what we're doing. A lot of people saying, are we going after Tyron Smith now that we have the money? He's projected a 1-year, $10 million contract. We could, if he's willing to bounce to right tackle. Don't know if he wants to do that. He could. Kendall Fuller, I think, was just signed. Marquise Brown was just signed. DJ Reader, certainly on my board now. Certainly on my radar, I should say. And the Chargers just went out and got Poona Ford. Great signing. If you want a guy in the middle of that line, DJ Reader, very talented. He would be wildly, wildly nice with the Bolts. Cameron Curl just got signed. Trent Brown, big one here. Is he the left tackle? I can't remember which side that he plays on. He kind of fits what the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh would be wanting to do. He's a little riskier. He's got some history. But he's firmly on the table. 2 years, $7.5 million per year. Definitely. Joby Awuzie, this is one that I think even before the Keenan Allen news was on my radar. The Chargers need a corner, dude. I don't know if I've heard that if he's been signed or not. I think last I heard he was a free agent. This is a guy I would sign today. The Keenan Allen move, the money freed up, you need a corner pretty freaking desperately. Take some of that money, put it towards Awuzie. That's not a bad corner at this point. Sure, he's not going to be the corner of the future or anything like that, but we need corners badly. Man. Chase Young projected a 1-year, $15 million. I think I passed on that instantly with the Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack situation going on right now. Of course, Derrick Henry's already signed. I don't know why he's still there. Kevin Zeitler, maybe he's in contention, a little bit older, but he's still very good. Stephon Gilmore, very much so in contention. He's older, would only be the 1 year. I don't know, man. Let's go to position by position here real quick because this is important. Like, if we're talking about what can we do right now with the money that we just got from Keenan Allen, some of the big positions I think we should hit. Let's start with wide receiver. We could try Odell for a season. He's not a bad guy to just kind of come in here with the young dudes because all of a sudden everyone's young, dude. The rookie, even if it's Malik Neighbors, would benefit from having a vet on the team. Odell is a cheap option. 1 year, $7 million. Little bit, risky, but at this point, you need somebody in there, and provides as much veteran leadership, or I should say veteran experience, as anybody that's available right now. Tyler Boyd would be a good option. Definitely a little bit younger there. Yes, Michael Thomas a little bit, but I'm not stoked on that name at all. Yeesh, outside of that, man, I'm not quite sure. Wide receiver, I think you're just kind of better off going straight through the drafts. And we're going to do a little mock draft, by the way. For these guys wondering, like, where's the stream going? We're going to look at the free agents. We're going to kind of decide a couple that we kind of like in terms of the money, because we got money now. And then we're going to do a mock draft to kind of see what the Chargers do to supplement wide receiver. I'm nowhere near prepared to do a full mock draft, but we're going to do what we can. All right? Moving on. Running back. J.K. Dobbins is back on the radar for me, even though he's a risk. Get that 1-2 punch. Dante Foreman. Grab one of those guys. Definitely not a bad idea. Pair him up with a rookie. I think we got a good running back room if we grab another free agent. Tight ends, I think we're good for now. I think most of these guys have been signed anyway. But a big position I think the Chargers need to emphasize right now is going to be center, interior line. Connor Williams is still out there, y'all. Look at that grade from last season. 86.5. Definitely not looking too bad, man. I think Connor Williams, that money, if you were to throw it into center, I would feel so much better about going into the draft. Probably the number one position that I'm looking for right now, because center is extremely important to this team in particular, especially Justin Herbert. Definitely take a look at him, man. I think Lloyd Cushenberry got signed, right? Aaron Brewer might still be out there. Connor Williams, ACL. Yeah, but I think there's talk about him being ready already, right? Unfortunately, suffered the ACL week 14, which negatively impacts his free agent market. No, you're right. The other guy that I was kind of looking at anyway was Cole. Mason Cole. Is he even listed on this? He's not. He would definitely be a good option to bring in temporarily if the Chargers were to find a guy in the draft, which, again, very deep offensive line class. It'd make me feel a little bit better. He'd be the new Will Clapp, right? But I think a step above him. I think he's more than capable of starting. But you got to get a guy in pretty soon here. Aaron Brewer, Evan Brown, Nick Gates, any of these guys. Get me a center as soon as freaking possible. Okay? Because, yeah, even if he ends up being a backup because we draft a guy in the, in this class that's pretty talented at that position, I still need a guy as a contingency plan and as a backup. Cornerbacks. This one's pretty important. Wouzier, Gilmore, both on my board. Nelson's okay. Adoree Jackson's a nice hybrid. I like him in the nickel. Witherspoon's okay on the outside. Christian Fulton, who knows what's going on with this guy? What happened? Did he just tank? I might be willing to give him a shot at 1 year, $3 million. Rock Ya-Sin's probably at the top of my list, if I'm being honest. I don't know what his contract projection is. It's going to be very cheap. But he's got experience in the Baltimore system. He'd be a nice add here. We need a corner. If you're going to do, if there's anything for sure that you're signing with this money, get a center, get a corner. You got to start there almost. Okay? Defensive line we kind of talked about. Let's kind of go back there again too. Interior defenders. Terry Tart's not bad. Fletcher Cox retired. Daquan Jones, I think, re-signed. Maurice Hurst is not bad. He signed Poona Ford. You might be able to wait till the draft for that one. But use the money appropriately. Safeties we're good on. We got Keenan and Alohi. Alohi's going to be a very nice fit in the Jesse Minter scheme of things. Edge is fine as well. We definitely don't need to go get a vet unless we trade one or the other of Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. We could go after, I think, the guy that I'm very, very decided on that I want back with the Chargers, and back being the key word there, is Kyle Van Noy. He'd be very cheap. You rotate him right back in. He's got a foot in both worlds of the Ravens and the Chargers. Could not be a better situation at backup edge if you had to trade one or the other in Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack. All right? Finally, did we skip any other very important position? I think we're okay now. Okay? So in short, the Chargers, in my opinion, we got to go out there and get, I think a corner and a center is really where you need to start. And there's still a couple of decently ones available. All right? But you got to do it. Because you got to free up your draft all of a sudden. Because first round, maybe even second round, kind of accounted for all of a sudden. All right? Kind of accounted for all of a sudden. Let's grab some of these supers and then move into some of the wide receivers we like in the upcoming draft. Because there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. Change this over to that so I can see everything. Envy says, thoughts on the Poona Ford signing? Great. Fantastic. I think Poona Ford, I think he can be your one if you needed him to be, but I think the Chargers still do go out there and sign another guy. But Poona's a great short-term option for the Chargers at defensive tackle, at least for right now. Drew with the 5 says, I processed this, still don't love it. For those saying we have to drive to wide receiver at 5, I point to the Chiefs, which championships without a premier wide receiver. That is true. That is true. And I'm not going to say you're not right there, but I do think given the talent of who's going to be available at 5, it just feels like wide receiver is kind of obvious, at this point. It just so happens to be a position of need, and maybe a big reason why Joe Ortiz was willing to move on from Keenan Allen to begin with, but you're not wrong. Butler with the 5, thank you so much. Double with the 5 says, I guess your last year's April Fool's joke didn't age too well. Did I do that last year? I know I did it a couple of years ago. Maybe I did it again. But yeah, that certainly was... Sometimes they come back to bite you. Matthew with the 35 says, I don't like the idea of getting a rookie wide receiver and rely on them to be wide receiver 1. You have to get a veteran wide receiver in free agency. It makes games to miss. Okay, A13. Yeah, and that's maybe where a guy like Odell comes in. I don't know, but you could convince me of that, certainly. And yeah, it does strengthen the argument of Mike Williams coming back too. But at the same time, you got Justin Herbert to elevate the rookies. We've seen situations, and this is the kind of rookies that these are. Again, because it's different saying it's hard to throw a rookie into that situation versus it's hard to throw Malik Neighbors into that situation, because Neighbors will more than thrive in this offense year one. Similar situation to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Like, quite literally, year one, he could be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Him and Marvin Harrison, neck and neck, could light this league on fire. That's why Malik Neighbors is kind of an obvious choice at pick number 5, and why the Chargers will be okay if we end up going wide receiver in year one. But yeah, I mean, veteran, especially when it comes to depth, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Mike coming in. Sorry, Butler saying, does this mean that we can pay Justin Jefferson and then draft Rome Odunze? Technically, yeah, but I really doubt that would happen. I mean, the Chargers could certainly shock us and say, hey, Justin Jefferson, as good as any wide receivers, we're going to get at 5. But the thing is, the Chargers have the opportunity to draft a generational wide receiver at 5 anyway, including Rome Odunze, right? I don't know if you need to go trade for Justin Jefferson when there's no huge price tag attached, and yes, a little bit of an injury. So just keep that in mind. I think it makes more sense financially as well as for the future to just kind of go at number 5 with one of those guys. Mikey says, Director, what do you think about Herbert to Bears trade? 3 first picks, throwing Fields? That would never happen. Just our cap would screw us. Like, even if the Chargers woke up and decided to drink the Kool-Aid, right? If the Chargers made that trade, we would be like negative $100 million in dead cap because of the guarantees behind Justin Herbert's contract. Like, we literally could not make the move even if we wanted to. Outside of that, it's pure insanity. I don't think it would ever happen anyway. Benjamin with the 5 says, future Hall of Famer, one of the best Chargers ever. I just got to believe Herbert knows what he's doing. He does. And unfortunately, we have Herbert. We have a system that's going to be a little bit more run balance. That's going to make things a little bit easier on the offense this season, especially the wide receivers. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Year one in Harbaugh, we knew there's going to be some growing pains. Certainly a turnover in talent and in front office. It's going to be a wild, wild year of whiplash, man. That's all I'm going to tell you. In honor of Mike Dubb and Keenan, I'm going to rewatch a couple of 18 games. Steelers-Chiefs game in Week 18 was awesome. Yep, it definitely was. I just tuned in. What's the odds? Week gun for Justin Jefferson. Again, guys, it's kind of a little bit possible, but it just doesn't make sense for the future, right? If you're drafting for the future and you're building a team in the future, you can get pretty much a version of Justin Jefferson for free in the draft. Why get JJ if we literally got let Keenan go for money? Well, the reason you get Justin Jefferson is because you can pay him and you can keep him on the roster for, what would it be, like 7 years on that contract? So you turn an older wide receiver into a younger wide receiver, and you're good at wide receiver for a long time. But it would be extremely expensive, like 2 $210 million kind of contract in total. Like, it would be a record breaking in very many ways at wide receiver. Chase with the gifted sub, thank you so much, man. And then finally, Chris says, let's look at the good news. $42 million in the green in the cap. Now we can afford some high quality wide receivers. Like, what if we get Keenan and Mike Williams? What if we get Keenan and Mike? Well, Keenan's going to be a Bear. And then Mike, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Mike Williams. But yeah, there is some good to be taken from this. So with that being said, thank you guys again for all the super chats. Let's go ahead and jump in to some of the rookies, because this is where I think this conversation gets really important, guys. The Chargers have an opportunity to really reset. It kind of feels like, honestly, what my butt would do when playing Madden franchise, right? I don't think I'm ever out there trading Keenan Allen. But sometimes, it's late. You've had a couple too many Pacifico. And you're like, what if I'm going to stay up till 4 and I'm going to... This weird Franken version of the Chargers. What might they look like? You go in, you completely turn everything over. Lots of positions to fill, but really you're just kind of beginning new and you're getting younger instantly. The whole idea is not to rebuild, to stay relevant because you have a quarterback, but to get younger. Try to maintain that talent and get younger. And the Chargers at wide receiver specifically, which again, it's why this live was so important to me and why we go live in this situation, is because I wanted to show you guys kind of the light at the end of the tunnel here. Okay? Let's go back up to PFF. Let's go to the NFL draft. Let's go to the big board. Okay? I'm just going to point out to you guys some players I think are very much so in reach of the Los Angeles Chargers, and why 2 rookie wide receivers is what I would do if I were Joe Ortiz this season. Yes, bring in a vet if you feel like you must, like you need that presence. Odell's kind of at the top of the list for me, if I'm being honest there. He kind of carries that with name as well. But if it were me, I'm starting new, I'm starting fresh, I'm getting younger because of the talent at this position this year. Okay, yes, we can go out there and trade. I don't have the resources to go out and look at all these trade, wide receivers right now. I may do that in a future video. But this draft class is ridiculous. I'm going to jump back to that. Actually, quick detour. A little bit relevant. Hugo comes in and says, Director, your take on jumping ahead of Arizona for Marvin Harrison Jr. We could. Let's do it right now. Screw it. Let's do it right now. Los Angeles Chargers, we currently have pick number 5. And if the trade requires... if the trade requires or follows the guidelines of what this chart puts out. Every pick kind of has a number value next to it. If a trade were to follow these guidelines, this is kind of what it would look like. The Chargers would need to make up what would be 500 points worth of draft capital in order to move up with the New England Patriots, what the Patriots would happily oblige. They've done this with us before, as a matter of fact. Right? We traded back into the first to get Kenneth Murray a couple years ago, traded him a second and some change. This could happen again. It really could. Especially with the Chargers. Let's say there's 2 quarterbacks on the board, and New England wants a quarterback, but they don't like the value. They trade down with us. They know Arizona's taking a wide receiver, right? They can expect a quarterback to be available at 5. Maybe that's a good situation for them. But the cost would likely be a first round. Maybe we get a 5th round on top of that, right? So we get their 1st and a 5th for our 1st and a 2nd. It would be a steep price. But if the Chargers guy is Marvin Harrison Jr., we could do it. Realistically, absolutely, we could trade up and get Marvin Harrison. Do I do it? Probably not. But it's possible. Okay? It's possible. Go back to the big board here. And a couple of the super chats real quick, and we'll get into these rookies. Chris at 2, with the $2 house, says neighbors at 5, trade back into the 1st for Bowers. Now that's an interesting concept. Now Bowers is going to go likely, even conservatively, between picks 10 and 20, right? I think at the very minimum. So if you're going to trade up there, man, you're going to need, let's see, Chargers 1st rounder plus, I don't know, let's see. Let's say he's still on the board at 15, right? You would likely trade this year's 2nd and next year's 2nd, maybe even more, I don't know, to trade up into that spot. You could do that. You could certainly do that, and that would be very interesting. All of a sudden, you've got a premier wide receiver as a featured weapon, and you got a premier tight end as a featured weapon.
Charger wanted Rivers to retire a Charger. That same year, the Chargers drafted a young QB by the name of Justin Herbert. From there, the rest was history. I'll leave it at that.
I think that's a good point. I'll read it again. Some people wanted Allen to retire a Charger, wanted Rivers to retire a Charger. At the same year, the Chargers drafted a young quarterback by the name Justin Herbert. From there, the rest is history. I'll leave it to that. Yeah, out with the old, in with the new, and that's kind of part of the healing process we're going through today. And again, the future's kind of bright. And I think this is kind of the big thing I wanted to show you guys here. This list of rookie wide receivers is going to help kind of prove that, at least for me. Okay. Wally, dude, $20 holla, man. Thank you so much for the support, dude. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Truly. Thank you. Glass says $2 holla. T. Higgins, this can rebuild. Yeah, T is definitely a trade option now, but I think the Chargers probably value the trade, the draft picks a little bit more at this point. MH2 at the 5. At least Allen didn't go to the Chiefs. Maybe Mike Williams comes back. Hate to see them leave him go. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Some rumors that Mike might go to the Chiefs, by the way. Let's really hope that doesn't happen. I don't know if I can handle that, if I'm being honest. Tiny's Chargers fans says that. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate the love there, man. $20 holla. Let's get into some of these rookies. Guys, thank you so much for all the super chats. Absolutely unnecessary. Thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for supporting the channel, even in times like these. Thank you. Thank you. Rookie wide receivers. All right, here we go. Drew saying lots of rumors. Arizona trades down to. Yes, and that's a big part of it. So I think we either go away with Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors. That being said, Marvin Harrison's a generational talent. He is going to be one of the best wide receivers in all of the NFL for like a decade. More, maybe. I don't know. He's going to be absolutely insane. He is as sure of a bet as we've ever seen in a draft prospect coming into the NFL. He's going to be awesome. He really is. He's going to be great. Malik Neighbors. What's crazy is how close these guys are, man. Malik Neighbors, one of the best sure options at wide receiver that we've ever seen come into the draft. Yes, Marvin Harrison Jr. is better, but by how much? I don't know. These guys are kind of neck and neck. It's kind of crazy that they're both in the same draft. You feel me? Both of these options are wildly, wildly good options for the Chargers. And if either one of them are available, the Chargers have hit a home run. And more than likely, it's going to be Malik Neighbors at pick number 5. Okay? We would be very happy with that. If we somehow get Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't know, I'll run naked through my street screaming hallelujah for 20 minutes. I don't know. It would be insane. I'd be so excited. So excited. But very excited for Malik Neighbors as well. Consolation prize, and definitely not a bad one here too, man. Rome Odunze. If the Chargers somehow miss out on these first two, which is very unlikely, Rome Odunze is still kind of a no-brainer for me. He is absolutely fantastic and fits the wide receiver 1 role, the X receiver role, just so perfectly. If you're talking about perfect measurables from the perspective of a wide receiver, right? 6'3", 215. It's got that, I don't know, DK Metcalf kind of thing going. Like, it could be awesome. And Rome Odunze would be an absolute baller with Justin Herbert. So these three, like we mentioned before, it's going to happen. One of these three is going to be a Los Angeles Charger. Okay? But that's kind of not what I'm going for on this video. What I'm going for in this draft is who's after that. Because I think these options give the Chargers some serious leverage in terms of turning around this wide receiver room in one season, and they're all young, they're all fresh. We're going to have guys for a long time. That's how special this draft is at wide receiver. Brian Thomas Jr., he's not going to be there. He's a very good receiver. He's going to get drafted top 10, I think. Top 15 at the very latest. I'm okay, top 20 at the very latest, but he's not going to be there in the second round for the Chargers. The Chargers, by the way, is at pick 37? Yeah, pick 37 in round 2. These are some guys that legitimately could be there. Okay? Ladd McConkey could be there. I think it's a little bit less likely. He's been doing great, killing it in his pro day and the NFL Combine, but he could be there. And this dude is surgical in terms of his route running. This guy's going to be a force. If you're talking about, let's say the Chargers, for exercise sake, let's say the Chargers get Malik Neighbors, wide receiver 1 off the bat. He's going to be one of the best in the entirety of the NFL. If the Chargers get lucky and Ladd McConkey falls to them at pick number 37, you could go back-to-back wide receiver, man. And I wouldn't blink. McConkey and Neighbors would be stupid for this team. McConkey could definitely just kind of fill in that slot role for very many years. They could share it with Neighbors, whatever. It'd be awesome. He'd be awesome. A.D. Mitchell, this would be a great option. I don't think he's going to be available. I think some of the rankings here are a little bit off. I think A.D. Mitchell's going to be going in the late first round, maybe even middle first round. Troy Franklin, I'd probably pass on. I love Oregon, guys. I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of Oregon Ducks fans out here, but there's some things that kind of scare me behind him. I have him a little bit lower. Roman Wilson. I actually think Roman Wilson could be found in the middle second round, maybe late second round. If you're lucky in the third round, he's still available. I don't know. But I think, honestly, even at the second round, even if it's a little bit higher, definitely not a bad option there. Some of my favorite guys a little bit further down the board, Keon Coleman, all of a sudden, is kind of a nice name for me, man. I don't know if I think he could be there in the second round for the Chargers. Again, I don't have him down at 57. I think he's going to be one of the better wide receivers in this class. Definitely not the fastest guy, but if you want a guy that can kind of do a little Keenan, a little Mike, Keon Coleman's an awesome option, man. Again, definitely not a burner, but he's going to be an awesome wide receiver in the NFL, dude. Mark my words. Mark my words. He's going to be great. It's not sexy. He's not fast, but he's a great route runner. He's got awesome hands. I don't know. I think, again, he's going to be available at some point later down the road. And he's got, yes, where he lacks long speed, he makes up for it in game speed, makes up for it in agility, shiftiness. Like, he's awesome. He could be a big target for the Chargers in the second round. Jalen Polk would be an awesome option here. I think one of the bigger ones, if you're talking maybe even third round, because, again, remember this, guys, the Chargers, when it comes to their draft position, you could almost think of their third round pick as a late second because they're clear at the top. They could even trade up if they want to, trade down, whatever the case may be. If they see a wide receiver they like in the third round, it could be a guy like Xavier Legette. I think Xavier Legette can be found in the late second, early third. This is one of the best replacements for Keenan Allen that you're going to find in this draft. Or not Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Sure, the guy is maybe lacking in a bit of route running. He's got some things that he's got to work on. But in terms of what we're going to call contested catches, bodying out defenders, even burning guys outright, he's actually a bit faster than Mike Williams. This is kind of your guy, man. He's got the size to match as well. This dude it was kind of shocking to me when I was watching some of his highlights and tapes that he reminded me so much of Mike Williams. This would be an awesome wide receiver. If the Chargers walk away with Malik Neighbors and Xavier Legette, this wide receiver room is set for a while. He'd be great. And again, you could go first round wide receiver, second round offensive line, corner, and then third round right back to wide receiver. And you're going to get Xavier Legette in any other draft is a early second rounder, late first rounder maybe. He's like a top 5 wide receiver in most other drafts. That's how deep this position is. And that's why I wanted to do this. That's why I wanted to show you guys these position groups. It's very deep. It's very good. Xavier Worthy, for goodness sake, he could be. I don't know if I'm quite in on Xavier Worthy yet. It's certainly very exciting to think about the fastest player in NFL Combine history, paired up with Justin Herbert, one of the best arms in the NFL. It's exciting, but I like what he offers outside of the speed. I really, really do. But in terms of like a completed wide receiver, like a completeness from the position in terms of route running, in terms of release, in terms of separation, I actually kind of like guys a little bit more despite being a little bit slower, if that kind of makes sense. But if Xavier Worthy's there and they take a shot on him, the second, third round, whatever, I think he's going to go early second, late first because of that 40 time. Again, just imagine Neighbors and Worthy match. I mean, the upside of Xavier Worthy is certainly better with the Chargers because of Justin Herbert. Just let that thing fly. You know what I mean? Bit of drop issues, which is kind of why I'm a little softer on Xavier Worthy than most people. I don't know if I want to go back to that as a Chargers fan, but the speed is definitely something that would excite me. Okay, Johnny Wilson's an awesome option. Brendan Rice is an awesome option later. Like, we're talking now fourth round and beyond, guys. There's just so many. Cornelius Johnson as well. So many solid options in terms of depth from rounds 4 and on. And I'm telling you guys, wide receiver threes, like starting caliber wide receivers, can be found in the 3rd and early 4th round. That is how deep this wide receiver class is, man. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Okay? If I were the Los Angeles Chargers after the Keenan Allen news, I'm doubling up at wide receiver in the draft. That's 100% going to be the plan, at least for me. Okay, let's grab some of these super chats and let's do a mock real quick. Okay, and we're going to go in with the idea. We'll go 5 deep. We're going to go in with the idea of wide receiver and fixing that unit. Okay. Some of the super chats here. That April Fool's jokes when you change your fandom to the Bears has ominously foreshadowed this nightmare we're cursed. Yeah, that is what it is, man. That is what it is, right? The director shocked the world. I may have lost like 1,000 subs that day. But so long as I am a content creator, I'm going to take the liberty of, I don't know, screwing with you guys a little bit. Thank you so much, Chris. Newman with the 2 says, it just me or feel like MB is better than MHJ. I mean, some people think so. I think, say, Malik Neighbors, right? I think some people think that, sure. But it really is kind of like, it depends on who you ask, right? Depends on who you ask. I still think for sure Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best I've ever seen. Somebody said the other day, too, that Joe Ortiz viewed Malik Neighbors as the best wide receiver that he's ever evaluated, which might, I don't know if that's true. That would definitely be worth something. Andrew says Raiders blowout, finally getting Jim, to getting the Avengers of a staff, to keeping Mack and Bosa, to losing Williams and Allen. Been a wild ride. Yeah, this has been an up and down roller coaster this season, Bowden. Absolutely. Wally coming back to 2. Roman Wilson excels in the slot, him and Neighbors. Yes, Roman Wilson, if we can get, the only thing that draws me back from Roman Wilson a little bit is the draft position. But I think, honestly, even if you have to take him like clear at the top of the 2nd round, Wilson in the slot with that speed is ridiculous. Paired up with Neighbors on the outside, you're set, dude. I don't know. Like, that actually does make a lot of sense to me. Even if picks 1 and 2 are wide receiver, I don't know if I want to do that, but I mean, that would make me very excited. Lastly, coming in from Swift with the 2 says, get rid of M. Davis certified. Oh, you're talking about Vato? Yeah, he's a free agent. I don't think we're going to be signing him back. Vikings signed Tillery. Ha. That being said, let's jump into a mock draft and wind things down here. An hour stream, I think, is very good. Got a lot done. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what kind of damage we do. Actually, let's go 4 deep. I don't know if I'm quite prepared to go 5 deep yet. I want to completely embarrass ourselves. We're going to bring it down to fast here. All right. Let's go ahead and enter the draft and see what we can do. Now, normally, I would go slow and I'd be talking about let's do some trades, right? Let's see where the Chargers are looking all of a sudden. This is a realistic situation here, man. As crazy as this might be, I don't think it's J.J. McCarthy. But I think the draft is going to start 3 quarterbacks. Okay, let's make this a little bigger so you guys can see. I think the draft starts 3 QBs. I think that's, if I was betting my life on it, I would say that the Patriots have to go quarterback, right? They could trade. There's been talks about maybe Justin Fields and that. No, go get your guy. I don't know if it's going to be J.J. McCarthy. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be the dude. That would certainly shock me, but go get your guy at quarterback. You got to do it. Chris says, DeClorian Clark, sneaky 5th, 6th rounder. Yeah, and there's a lot of sleepers that we got to get to as well. But this is realistically what I think is going to happen. I'm glad that it's shaped out this way. And at this point, it is so obvious it makes my head spin. The Chargers take Malik Neighbors, and we go from losing one of the best wide receivers we've ever had to drafting one of the best wide receivers we will ever have. It's not going to make up for our pain and suffering in missing Keenan Allen, but there are certainly much worse situations you could be in if it weren't for this draft class. We're going to take Malik Neighbors, who's going to be the next Antonio Brown, but with speed, and we're not going to look back, and we're going to feel very good about our wide receiver room all of a sudden. Just Malik Neighbors transforms this wide receiver room that's being led by Josh Palmer to all of a sudden Malik Neighbors and company. I'm feeling very good about that situation. Yuto says Tony, but heard he signed with Walmart for 2 years. What? Appreciate the 2 there, man. Now let's take a look at the second round here. Now, this is where things get a little complicated because I don't know if a lot of these guys are going to go in the first round. Certainly these guys up here. Now that actually looks pretty good. I was looking at the rankings thinking that it was going to be a little bit different, but actually that does not look too bad to me. Some nonsense in the middle rounds here. So let's take a look and see who's available now at the top of the second round. Lad McCockney, who I've been seeing here a lot, not in just on PFF, but in a lot of mock drafts as well. That, guys, I'm telling you right now, I don't know why he's being overlooked. This is one of the best wide receivers in the whole draft. He's a wide receiver 1 in a lot of different teams. Insane to think about his potential with the Chargers. Insane. Okay? But I am seeing some other talent on the board here that does grab my attention. Okay? Mike Sennerstill, like this would be an awesome slot corner for the Chargers. I would not hesitate to draft him in the second round. He would be amazing. Braden Fisk would be an awesome future, the middle of that defensive line. Kamari Lassiter would be an awesome starting corner for this team. Sal Mattia would be an awesome starting right tackle for this team. There's a lot. And then Penix would be off the board by now. There's Roman Wilson would be one of the best slot receivers that you could possibly add. I don't know, man. A lot of talent in here. If I were being honest with you guys, because we got to go kind of what I feel is going to actually happen. You're going to kind of go best talent available, at least by some of your perspectives, right? And I think some of the best talent that I'm seeing on the board, I think Sanders worth a shot. I think what the Chargers might end up doing, because this is one hell of a football player, Zach Frazier. The Chargers, in my opinion, are going to be signing a guy that's going to be maybe a buffer at center, maybe a backup at center. But Zach Frazier, or a guy like him, I don't know if I can pass up on that. You could say that about a lot of these offensive linemen. This is a very deep class. If you get near the top of this class, it really helps things out. It feels like a Jim Harbaugh kind of move. I don't know, man. I think for the sake of this exercise, let's say the Chargers, it's really tough because I want to go corner, but let's go offensive line because Jim Harbaugh, right? Let's say the Chargers go wide receiver, then O-line. They get, honestly, guys, Zach Frazier, if you wanted a guy to apprentice or succeed Corey Linsley, Frazier would be an absolute home run. Hugely valuable player for the Chargers if that were to happen. I don't even know if he's going to be available in the second round of the Chargers. That's kind of a slide there, if I'm being honest. Okay? So now we get into the third round. Let's take a look at some of the talent still left on the board. This is where things get a little bit complicated for me. If Jonathan Brooks is still there, I take him. Absolutely. Third round, that's a great value. You can let him heal. Let Gus Edwards carry the load for a while. Slowly introduce Brooks. You got your running back 1 for a long time in Jonathan Brooks. I don't think he's going to be there. Let's take a look. Chavontre Sweat would be an awesome pick in the third round. Again, I don't think he's going to be there. But Johnny Wilson, some of these. Let's actually look at the wide receivers specifically. A lot of these guys went a little bit higher, but still some great talent a little bit down the board. Brendan Rice, an awesome talent. Maybe a little bit high for him, in my opinion. But Johnny Wilson, Jalen McMillan, dude, this would be great. Devontae Walker would be great. I like Johnny Wilson a lot, if I'm being honest. But some dogs down here, dude. And even if we don't go wide receiver, I'm feeling very good about Malik Neighbors all of a sudden. And then you can go, free agency if you have to, even after the draft. What are you guys doing here? I mean, yeah, I think Jalen McMillan, to me, I think would be the pick. Let's go to the chat. What do you guys think? What would you guys do in the third round with the talent that's left on the board? Let's kind of go down here a little bit. Junior Colson, linebacker is going to be a huge need for this team, man. Huge need for this team. I love Tavondre Sweat, but I don't think he's going to be there. Brendan Rice, I like a lot. Jalen Wright, I think there's a chance Jalen Wright could be there, and he would be an awesome pick for me. Cedric Van Pran would be good, too, if we didn't already. Blake Corum could be there, certainly in the third round. I think that's very realistic to think that he would be the pick. Max Melton could be climbing. Marshawn Lloyd could be the pick, too. Let's go to the chat here. I'll let you guys decide. Some of these super chats here while we're waiting for you guys to chime in. Kimberly, thank you so much for the Dala Hala. Red says, Director, man, I'm sad. Truly the end of an era. We love you, Slayer. Yeah, it's going to be the end. You guys like Sweat? Junior Colson. Yeah, Colson would be an awesome pick for this team too, man. We need a coverage linebacker like crazy. It would make a lot of sense. This is a hugely important part of this defensive scheme. I think there's a better chance of him being there than Tavondre Sweat. I think they got him ranked a little bit low on this site. But this is a great coverage linebacker, dude. I think the importance of this position, let's go ahead and go with that. I'm seeing a lot of him in the chat anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and he's a starter instantly. He's a starter for this team. Him and Dan Henley would be absolutely awesome in the middle. Absolutely awesome. Okay, and let's go here into the 4th round and see if maybe there's a wide receiver that we feel good about. Max Melton's still there. He would be the pick instantly. Chargers did not get a running back, right? In this situation, maybe even Jalen Wright would have been the pick back up there. Either way, let's take a look at some of the wide receivers still left on the board here. And this is kind of going deep, but Cornelius Johnson I've looked at. Taj Washington I looked at a little bit. The Corey and Clark you guys were talking about a little bit too, but it's a bit of a reach at this point. I don't know, man. I'm still feeling pretty good with Malik Neighbors in there and company. Let me know in the chat what you guys are thinking. I think Ray Davis would be an awesome pick at this point too. Maybe a little bit high on a lot of boards. Marshawn Lloyd would be a good pick here too. Max Melton kind of has to be the pick if you're asking me though. We need a corner. He could still be there in the 4th round. He would be awesome. He would be absolutely awesome. Then coming in from Juan, thought for sure Slayer would end his career as Charger. Chicago Bears are lucky to have one of the most miraculous wide receivers in the game. Absolutely, Juan. He's going to be missed. He's definitely going to be missed. Thank you for the 10, my man. We better not draft another ex-Raven, says Big X. Yeah, that'd be a little bit tough with all the rookies, huh? Appreciate that, man. In this exercise, let's go ahead and take Max Melton. I think he could still be there, honestly, and we need a corner at that point. He would be starting for the Chargers, too. He definitely would be. Marshawn Lloyd, I was definitely thinking about. But let's take a look at how we made out here, man. I mean, I would feel very good about this. That you bring in a vet to match up with Malik Neighbors. This is not a bad situation to be in, guys. I was actually going in expecting to take another wide receiver in the 3rd round, if I'm being honest. But Junior Colson there is a solid pick. This would be an awesome scenario for the Chargers. It really would be. This would be a great situation for the Chargers. Wide receiver all of a sudden looks... I mean, Malik Neighbors can carry the whole load himself, but we also have to remember the Zach Frazier pick, and he's going to represent what I would assume is an offensive lineman in the top 4 rounds. I'm almost going to guarantee that happens with how amazing the class is in offensive line. Like, it's going to happen, whether it's center, guard, tackle, whatever. Jim Harbaugh is going to pick an offensive lineman. I don't think it's going to be in the 1st round anymore, but certainly 2nd and 3rd round are on the table. That position is going to heavily affect your run game. And this offense doesn't need 3 wide receiver ones to carry the load anymore. You need 1 or 2 really good wide receivers, and Malik Neighbors would be among the best. And then let the run game contribute. A Zach Frazier pick would heavily contribute to the run, help this team become more balanced, and ultimately take pressure off of Justin Herbert and even Malik Neighbors in carrying the offense through the air. I don't know, man. I like that a lot. I feel very good about this pick. This would be a home run draft if you're asking me. If the Chargers decided to walk away, even with the situation that we're in, with some additional free agents because of the Keenan Allen money, and in this class, it would be a home run, man. It would be a home run. We need offensive tackle. Yes, we do, but again, the needs are all kind of shifting as things go on. We have 2 rounds. We do have 2 4th rounders all of a sudden. They didn't have it accounted for yet here. So in the 4th round, we didn't see who. Let's say the Chargers did go wide receiver in the 4th round. There's still a lot of guys there that would provide wide receiver 4 or 5 kind of talent. Okay, and let's not forget, we still have Josh Palmer, who's likely going to get re-signed after all this is said and done, to help things out in terms of depth too. Let's keep that in mind. That being said, guys, let's read some of these super chats and then slow things down here as it's been an hour of kind of figuring things out, understanding the situation, and ultimately just kind of being together while the news broke. Kimberly coming with the 2 says, trade with the Pats for Marvin Harrison Jr. Cards pick, same quarterback left. Yeah, I really do feel like that could be on the table now. I think it's kind of wiser for the Chargers to keep... It would cost them their 2nd round pick. I think pretty clearly it would cost their 2nd round pick in order to move up to get Marvin Harrison Jr. It could definitely be worth it. He's the number 1 receiver in many generations for a reason. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I really wouldn't. But if you walk away with Malik Neighbors, I think you're just as fine. But thank you so much, Kimberly. Appreciate that. Wally coming back with the 5. Trade back to 11 with the Vikings. Get Bowers. get their second this year and then draft 2 wide receivers in the second round, you think, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Honestly, that wouldn't be bad. I would feel better about getting one of the top receivers in this class because those are the only guys that I think come even close to replicating a Keenan Allen kind of effect on this team. But I totally get that. I totally get that. Thank you so much for the 5 there, man. If anything, I don't mind trading back into the first round to get Brock Bowers for sure. Then Matthew Hernandez with the $2 holla. Do you trust Palmer and Johnson or go for a free agent? I think you go for the rookie first. I think a free agent is something that you should certainly consider as well. Well, guys, it's been a tough one. One of the toughest streams I've ever done in my whole life. This is fresh off the back of doing one of the toughest videos I've ever done in my life. But I think it's very important that we're all there for each other, that we're all considerate of our emotions at this time. And we understand that the future is not completely lost. This is one of the best wide receiver classes I've ever seen. Likely took in part why the Chargers decided to make this dramatic move to begin with. And it's one that I think the Chargers are going to recover from in the long haul. I don't know if I would have done this. I don't know how happy I'm going to be tomorrow about it, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Malik Neighbors will be a Charger. Rome Odunze will be a Charger. One of those two. Marvin Harrison Jr. could be a Charger, which would be absolutely nuts. And we build for the future. See what happens, man. We'll see what happens. And then Hugo, I love that comment. You know, imagine Edwards, Gus Edwards, and then Edwards, Donovan Edwards, if we dropped him next season, running back out of Michigan, to be the run game next year. That would be pretty sick, man. I'm not going to lie. That would be pretty sick. That'd be pretty sick. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. Do me a favor while we have 1,000 people still in here. You guys go into the chat and hit up this link right here, okay? These are my good buddies at Chargers Unleashed. They're live right now. If you guys want to keep the party going, go give them a pat on the back. Tell them Director sent you, and let them know that Slayer will forever be a Charger, okay? Forever be a Charger in our hearts. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining. Hit up that like button. Please hit the sub button if you'd be so kind. We're trying to reach 50,000 subs by kickoff. I think it's possible if we really, really kick it into second gear. Big dream of mine, 50K. I never thought that we'd get even close to it, and here we are. Again, guys, appreciate all you guys stopping in. We'll see you soon. As always, bolt up, stay frosty, and much love to Keenan Allen, man. We're never going to forget what you did for this team.